All right, let's talk about learning to code in 2026. With AI seemingly taking over, you might be wondering, is it even worth it anymore? Did I miss the boat? Well, if that's the question on your mind, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to lay out a practical, no-nonsense roadmap to get you from square one to your very first dev job. Let's dive in. Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off right away. See this number? 90%. That's how much code some experts believe could be written by AI in the very near future. Yeah, 90. And when you hear a number that huge, it's impossible not to ask one really big question.
Is it too late? Have you missed your chance? This is the single biggest question facing anyone who wants to become a developer today. And the answer, maybe surprisingly, is a huge emphatic no. It is absolutely not too late. But, and this is a big but, the rulebook has been completely thrown out. The game is just different now.
And this quote right here, it just perfectly captures the new reality. Syntax is cheap, understanding is expensive and irreplaceable. Think about it. Memorizing the exact way to write a loop in Python, an AI does that in a millisecond. That's cheap, but knowing why a loop is needed there and how that fits into the grand scheme of your application, that's the expensive part. That's the skill that makes you, the human, completely irreplaceable. So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll unpack this new reality of coding. Then we'll get down to business, picking your first language, mapping out your first 90 days, and of course, building actual projects. After that, we'll talk about making AI your superpower. And finally, the big one, how to turn all that effort into a career you love.
So let's jump right in. Section 1, Coding's New Reality. We have to understand just how much the ground has shifted underneath our feet because it's a pretty fundamental change.
I mean, just look at the contrast here. A few years ago, learning to code was all about flashcards and cramming syntax into your brain. Today, in 2026, it is a whole different ballgame. The focus is now on high-level thinking, on collaborating with an AI partner, and on understanding the entire system. You're shifting from being a code typist to a system architect.
So these are the skills that will actually get you hired. Can you take a big, messy problem and break it down into smaller, solvable pieces? Can you hunt down bugs like a detective? Can you zoom out and see the big picture? And maybe most importantly, can you work with an AI and still explain every single line of code it helps you write? This is your new curriculum.
Okay, knowing that those are the skills we're aiming for, let's tackle the first big decision everyone faces, choosing a programming language. This is all about picking the right tool for the job you want to have. This table breaks it down nicely. If you want the fastest path to seeing results you can actually interact with, and you want a massive job market, JavaScript is your best bet. The web is everywhere. But if you hear the words AI and data and your ears perk up, then Python is the undisputed champion. And just look at the job demand for both. It's through the roof. Now, I know choices can be paralyzing, so let me just give it to you straight. Our recommendation is this. Start with JavaScript if you're the kind of person who gets motivated by seeing your work come to life visually in a browser. Or choose Python if the world of data and machine learning is what genuinely gets you excited. You honestly can't make a bad choice here. Okay, language chosen. Awesome. Now for the most important part. What do you actually do? This is your 90-day plan, designed to build some serious, unstoppable momentum right from the start. Think of this as a learning sprint. The first 30 days are all about the non-negotiable fundamentals. We're talking variables, loops, functions, the absolute bedrock of all programming. Then, in the next 30 days, you start using pro tools like Git and build your first simple apps. Finally, in the last month, you level up. You start working with real-world APIs and begin your first proper portfolio project. And what should your daily routine look like? Well, this chart is key. Notice that tiny sliver for pure theory? It's only 15%. The vast majority of your time, a whopping 75%, should be spent with your hands on the keyboard, coding, breaking things, and then figuring out how to fix them. That cycle is where the real learning happens. All that hands-on time leads us directly to our next section, building real projects. This is how you escape what we call tutorial hell, that endless loop of watching videos without ever creating anything of your own. A portfolio of real projects is what gets you hired. But hey, don't try to build the next Amazon on day one. You have to climb the ladder. Start small, with simple tools that just run in your terminal. Then build a web app that pulls in data from a real API. From there, you can tackle a full-stack application. And for the final boss level, you integrate AI into a project to show you have truly modern skills. Now, let's zoom in on that critical new skill,
mastering your AI partner. The goal here is simple but crucial. Use these amazing tools as a lever to make yourself more powerful, not as a crutch that you can't function without. So, how do you do that? You follow a simple, professional workflow. 1. You plan first. You are the architect. You think through the logic before you ask the AI for anything. 2. You give it clear, detailed instructions. Garbage in, garbage out, right? And 3. The golden rule. You review and you own every single line of code it writes. If you can't explain what it does, you can't use it, period. And if you're wondering which tools to use, here are the heavy hitters right now. Cursor is getting a ton of buzz for its all-in-one experience. Claude 3.5 is incredible for thinking through really complex problems. GitHub Copilot is the industry standard for code completion. And hey, don't sleep on the free tools like Gemini and ChatGPT. They're fantastic for research and just learning new concepts. So you've built the skills, you've built the projects. Now for the payoff. Let's talk about turning all this hard work into an actual career. First, a quick reality check. This isn't an overnight process. If you can dedicate a solid 20 to 30 hours a week, you're realistically looking at about 6 to 9 months of focused work to be ready for that first junior role. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but it's an achievable one. And what's the reward at the end of that marathon? Well, using India as an example, a typical entry-level salary in 2026 is falling somewhere between 4 to 12 lakhs per annum. And with a really strong portfolio, you can definitely push the higher end of that range. That makes the hard work feel pretty tangible, doesn't it? Finally, let's talk about the 4 traps that can completely derail your progress. 1. Tutorial hell. You have to stop watching and start building. 2. Mindless copy-pasting from AI. I promise you will be asked to explain your code in an interview, and it will be obvious. 3. Perfectionism. Your first app will be ugly. Ship it anyway. And 4. Isolation. Don't do this alone. Join a community. You will learn so much faster. This really brings us back to the core idea. If you take just one thing away today, let it be this. Your job is no longer to be a fast typist. Your job is to be an intelligent problem solver who now has the most powerful tools in history to help you build amazing things. So, you have the roadmap. You know the skills that matter. You have a path to follow, and you know the traps to avoid. The only question left is the one on your screen. Will 2026 be the year that you decide to become a programmer?